In this video, we're going to look at inequalities with rational functions. Now, you already know how to solve linear inequalities, quadratic inequalities, but inequalities involving rational functions do have a bit of a twist in them, which makes them a bit more challenging than you think. You might be tempted with something like this to simply approach it as if it were an equation. So look, multiplying through by x minus 1 would give me x minus 2 is less than 5 times x plus 1, so 5x plus 5, and solving this way. So subtracting x from both sides, subtracting 5 from both sides, and then concluding that x is greater than minus 7 over 4. That is wrong, and it's wrong for an interesting reason. Now, these sorts of questions, they basically have two legitimate ways that they can be solved, and I'm going to show you both. The longer way, and the way that in the end is actually a bit more common in exams, is to draw a sketch and sort of figure it out from that. The reason why that's more common is a very standard question would be sort of part A, which is to sketch the curve, and a part B, which is to solve an inequality. And if the question is structured like that, this way is the best way of doing it. The second way I'll show you is a bit of a shortcut if you don't need to sketch the curve. But let's do it with a curve sketch first. So let's begin by sketching the curve x minus 2 over x plus 1. So we know that this has got a vertical asymptote at x equals minus 1. Now it has a horizontal asymptote because it's linear over linear. Our horizontal asymptote is, as x tends to infinity, the minus 2 and the plus 1 become irrelevant. We've got x over x, which is 1. So we have a horizontal asymptote at x equals 1. We have an x-intercept at x equals 2, so that's here. And we've got a y-intercept at, well, minus 2 over 1 is minus 2, so that's here. So dot to dot from this point, it's coming up like that through this one, and there, and then over here, looking like that. Okay, so there's our sketch. Now, how do we use that to solve this inequality? Well, for this, I would do something like draw a line across at 5, which is somewhere up here. Okay, so this point here, that's the point that we identified when we solved this naively. Now, I'll come back to that in a moment, but let's first use the graph to solve this properly. So the proper solution we can see is that x could be less than this point. Now, I think we figured out, or let's just do it now. If we hadn't done that work before, we would say, well, where does the curve x minus 2 over x plus 1, where does it actually equal 5? Well, it equals 5 when x minus 2 is equal to 5x plus 5. And solving that, we get 4x is minus 7, and we get x is minus 7 over 4. So we can see that this inequality is true when x is less than that. So x is less than minus 7 over 4, but also over here. This whole region to the right of the vertical asymptote, that's all less than 5 as well. So it's that bit, and it's x greater than minus 1. Now let's just compare that to our naive and wrong solution before. Recall that what we tried before is we tried x minus 2 over x plus 1 is less than 5. We multiplied through by x plus 1, giving me 5x plus 5. We got 4x here, we got minus 7 there, and we concluded that x was greater than minus 7 over 4. So that's like doubly wrong. It's wrong because we completely missed this one, and it's wrong because it got this one the wrong way round. Now, the reason why that one went wrong is we were multiplying through by something which could have been positive or negative. And what we know about inequalities is if you multiply an inequality through by a negative number, the inequality swaps round. So when x is less than minus 1, i.e. precisely this region over here, multiplying through by x plus 1 should actually flip the sign, and that's why we got this the wrong way round. And then, yeah, for this bit over here, it just failed to spot this bit. So we can't just approach it like that. The method number 1, which I'm going to suggest to you, is to draw a full sketch figure out any intersection points, and then just use logic. Identify the regions where it's actually true, which is this region here, not this little bit up here, but then this region here. So option number 1, sketch, find intersections, then use logic and your graph. Like I said, that's pretty common in exams because very often part A is telling you to sketch. If you have the sketch, this way is definitely the quickest way. Option 2 is a really, really sneaky method, which I love because it's so sneaky. So we're tempted to multiply through by x plus 1, except we can't because x plus 1 might be negative. So what could we multiply through by which would be useful but that's always positive? Well, the answer is x plus 1 squared. So option 2 is to multiply by the denominator squared. So what would that look like here? If I multiply the left-hand side by x plus 1 squared, well, the first x plus 1 just clears away the old one, and the second one multiplies the top by x plus 1. So I've multiplied the left-hand side by x plus 1 squared now. Now I multiply the right by x plus 1 squared, so 5x plus 1 squared. And what I now have is a standard quadratic inequality. And I know how to solve those. And I can actually even be a bit sneaky here because x plus 1 is a factor of both sides. So let's get everything over to the right-hand side, but don't actually expand. 5x plus 1 squared minus x minus 2 x plus 1. Now look at this. I'm going to pull out a factor of x plus 1. And what does it leave me with? It leaves me with 5 times x plus 1, so that's 5x plus 5, minus x minus 2, so that's minus x plus 2. In total then, what I have, if I just write this the other way around, is I've got x plus 1 times 4x plus 7 should be greater than 0. And this is now just standard quadratic inequality. How would I solve that? Draw myself a sketch. I've got one root at minus 1, one root at minus 7 over 4. Draw my quadratic. And we're saying, when is this quadratic greater than 0? Well, that's when x is less than minus 7 over 4, or when x is greater than minus 1. So you get the same answer as what we've got here without having to draw the difficult sketch. Okay, 2 methods. It's good to practice both. Obviously in the exam, you use whichever one is going to be fastest. If part A is like telling you to sketch, or you're given a sketch, use method 1. If not, probably go with method 2. Let's try another one. All right, so method 1, sketch it, find intersections, use logic. Do have a go at this yourself. So let's label this as method 1 and let's go ahead and do our sketch. Now obviously this sketch, unless you're asked for a sketch, it's like a rough sketch. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be decent. So vertical asymptote to x equals 3. Horizontal asymptote, no horizontal asymptotes, oblique asymptotes, because the numerator is quadratic and the denominator is linear. So let's go ahead and find those. So I want x squared minus x minus 2 over x minus 3 to be identical with some amount of x plus a constant over x minus 3. Just evaluating numerators, my numerator here will be ax plus b times x minus 3 plus c. And that should be identical with the numerator over here. Okay, comparing coefficients, I guess I want to expand this first. I've got ax squared plus bx minus 3ax minus 3b plus c. So x squares on the left is 1, x squares on the right is a. So a is 1. X is on the left is minus 1, x is on the right is b minus 3a. And a is 1, so that's just minus 3, and that gets me b is 2. Constants on the left is minus 2, constants on the right is minus 3b, so that's minus 6 plus c, and that gets me c is 4. So my expression is 1x, so y equals 1x plus b plus 4 over x minus 3. I'm actually going to redo my sketch because thinking about it, I need 10 in there, so I might have to shift everything down a bit so I've got enough room. So let's see, let's have this down here. I had my vertical asymptote at x equals 3, so we're not going to keep it nice and compact so I can fit 10 in. And then my oblique asymptote was x plus 2, so something like this. Okay, any roots? Yes, because that numerator factorizes as x minus 2x plus 1. So I've got x-intercepts at 2 and minus 1. Okay, so now it's, y-intercept is minus 2 over minus 3, so 2/3, so something like that. Okay, so I'm looking at a sketch that looks like this. Oblique asymptote, go through that root, go through that intercept, down through the root, down to the vertical asymptote. Back from the vertical asymptote, heading over to the oblique asymptote. So there's my sketch. Now I put in y equals 10, so something like that. Just a rough sketch, bit of a mess, but there we go. And what I can conclude is that this function is less than 10 between these 2 points, which I shall now find, and everywhere to the left of the vertical asymptote. So quite cheaply I get that it's definitely true when x is less than 3. Just to the left of that asymptote. That's great. Now, let's find what these points are. I'll do that by solving x squared minus x minus 2 over x minus 3 equals 10. So x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 10x minus 30. Solving this, we get x squared minus 11x. What is that? That is plus 28. Now that factorizes, that's x minus 4, x minus 7. So I've just learned that x equals 4 and x equals 7 are these 2 points. And I've just also can see that the function is less than 10 between these 2 points. So that's going to be 4 is less than x is less than 7. Okay, I will show you the other technique now. But just before I do, suppose the question had said less than or equal to 10. How would that have affected our answer? Well, up here, it would have meant that we could really have been equal to it here. So it would have been 4 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 7. But this one still would have been x is less than 3 because x cannot be equal to 3. The reason it's less than 3 is that 3 is the asymptote, not because the function is 10 at that point. So just watch it. The less than or equal to versus strictly less than doesn't always just map straight over to your answers here. If it's anything to do with an asymptote, it's never equal to. Okay, that is method 1, the sketch, the logic, the intersections. Now I'll show you how to do it the sneaky way. Okay, so our sneaky method is multiplying through by the thing that's always positive, putting 2 because it's method 2, which is multiplying through by x minus 3 squared. You multiply through by x minus 3 once, and it just goes. You multiply it through again, and you get x squared minus x minus 2 times x minus 3. Multiply the right-hand side by it, and we get 10 times x minus 3 squared. Now what we've got here is a cubic inequality, which is not something that you may have seen before, but actually it's going to be no problem to solve. Let's get everything over to one side and factorize out an x minus 3. So let's not rush this, we'll do it one step at a time. Everything over onto one side. And now let's factorize out an x minus 3. Pulling out the x minus 3 gives us x squared minus x minus 2, and then minus 10 times x minus 3, so that's minus 10x, and minus 10 times minus 3, which is plus 30. So what do we end up with? We're going to end up with a cubic, which we can actually factorize, because look, we have x squared minus 11x plus 28. It's the same quadratic we actually solved using our other technique. That factorizes as x minus 4, x minus 7. Now, how do we solve this? Well, we just need to sketch that cubic, and that's not too bad. Plotting that cubic, we've got roots at 3, 4, and 7. It's a positive cubic, so it comes up here, down there, up here. And we're interested in the regions where this cubic is negative. So when is it negative? Well, it's negative down here. So that's when x is less than 3. And it's also negative between 4 and 7. So it's also negative between x equals 4 and x equals 7, which is of course exactly the same answer as what we got using this method here, but didn't require the sketch. The one warning on this technique is, had that been a less than or equal to, you just would have needed to be a bit careful, which was you would have kept a less than or equal to all the way through, but you just have to notice that x equals 3 is the asymptote, so it could never be an x less than or equal to 3 here. It would always have to be strictly less than, but these two would have been less than or equal to's if that had been. So in summary, we've got these two techniques. Technique 1, sketch the whole thing, find intersections, use your pretty picture and some logic to figure it out. That's great, particularly when part A told you to sketch and part B said solve an inequality. If no such sketch is there, slightly quicker is just to multiply through by the denominator squared. Okay, that's all on these sorts of inequalities now. I'll see you in the next video.